Hi, everyone. Hey, welcome today. This is Brian Land with LucidWorks, and welcome to the webinar today. Today we're going to talk about how to leverage AI and machine learning for your employee experience. And I'm going to go through a little bit of a deck, just like 15 minutes or so, but we're going to have live demos for the bulk of the time. We're also going to record this presentation and demo. We'll send you links over email so you can download it and view it. So great. So let's go ahead and get started. By the way, we're going to have Q&A at the end as well. So we're going to leave about 10, 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. Feel free to ask questions in the chat and we'll address them. This is, again, my name is Brian Land. I'm the Solution Engineering Leader for LucidWorks. And I'm a longtime search guy. I've been here 4 years. I was an early engineer at Endeca in the early 2000s. If you know Endeca, Oracle purchased them in 2011, but they were kind of a pioneer in that faceted search. But tell you what, search has come a long way since then, and I'm excited, and we're all excited to show you what can be done using machine learning. So a little bit about me first. I have a little personal story. I had my own little COVID-19 project about a year ago, and I built a Sprinter van. You may have seen Nomadland, and that's what people keep telling me are going to be like Nomadland. I'm not, but this is a couple of pictures. This is not my van, by the way. This is I have a Pinterest page, and I got inspired by some of these photos, and I love to surf and foil surf specifically. So I started on this project, and it's been fun. It's almost done. But a year ago, my first step was to pick insulation because, man, these vans get really hot. Mine's black. And you see here, this stands at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine's probably like 180 because I have a black van. And the first thing you have to do is pick, all right, how are you going to insulate it? You want to do the old, pink insulation? From what I read, it's kind of a little bit toxic. You're in a closed living space. You don't want that. Do you want to do, this is called polyiso. You see this in a lot of houses. It's pretty thick insulation. It's about an inch, and it creates a really good vapor barrier as well, which I learned it's good to trap hot air between the metal and the insulation itself. There's sheep's wool. I was told that, no sheep are harmed in this picture, but it's a lot of folks are going this route, but the downside is it can mold easily if you get a little drip in your van. Some water gets in there, and it could be also toxic with the mold. And then there's Thinsulate. This is the most expensive option. I think it's probably the better option, but again, you're going to probably spend another $1,500 in extra costs for that. But I mean, a lot of options. I mean, I probably read 150 hours of blog and video throughout the past year, learning how to build a van from scratch, which is kind of like a tiny house. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm an engineer. I love working on things, building code or building things. So I've had had a blast. And at the end, I'll show you the end result. I'm really close. I learned a lot along the way. But what I found is that there's too much information, and I couldn't have things. There's a lot of opinions. It was really tough finding things, and because I had to make decisions. Make a decision on electrical, water, beds, systems, and of course this insulation system. And being here, being a longtime search guy, I've heard this over and over at the companies we work with. Even McKinsey estimates that knowledge workers spend 20% of their time looking for information. And I hear that over and over from companies that we talk to. They want to have more productive employees. They want more consumer-like experiences, right? I mean, we all use Amazon. I use Amazon almost every day, it seems like, especially because so many little things to buy. And Google-like experience, as I'm typing, find it on the first couple links or in the search bar. I think I was looking for I was looking for even just the tap for the water lines. I had to purchase this extra component, and Amazon just had it right there. Oh, you're buying this water line? Well, you probably also need these nuggets and washers and things at the bottom. Those are recommended items, and they're using machine learning. Google and Amazon and others have really, and Netflix have pioneered that machine learning experience, and that's driven a great consumer experience. But employees are wanting more. They're wanting more out of their search systems. So that's what we're going to dive into. We're going to dive into how machine learning and AI can help the employee experience, help them find what they're looking for, so they don't have to spend that 20% of their time today, finding things. I do want to do one case study, and this is a very large oil and gas company, and we're helping them in a number of different ways. But these are just some examples that can be used not just in oil and gas, but also in other different markets. One is probably the most common. Sorry, there's a little bit of of course, the lawnmower guys here. So this is the most common use case, right? Employees can't find what they're looking for. They're working in silos, and they're working in silos, going to different systems, trying to find the information they're looking for. So it's a loss in productivity. And another pain point and use case is just making decisions on your core data. So in this case, their core data was locked into like seismic reports and engineering reports and things like that. But they have to make decisions. In this case, oil and gas is making a decision on where to drill, and could be telecom, making decisions, or financial making decisions, and that's there's an impact to revenue and cost. Another use case is around sentiment, trying to provide that customer satisfaction, that NPS score, driving that as high as possible. There's data in there. There's data in the CRM and logs and things like that can be utilized and now leveraged using machine learning. In this case, there's field engineers, can't find, for example, the proper parts and engineering docs to fix issues, or even MRO to quickly maintain. In large companies, I found that engineers use multiple systems. They're using PLM systems like PTC. They may use multiple CAD systems, Autodesk, and others. And then they have to go to multiple silos to find a decision on, to be more productive, or maybe even a system down. Maybe the plant's down for a while. I need to fix it. I need to find a part very quickly, or is this part in another plant or warehouse, and what have you. Here's another common pain point, and not just across all large companies. It was around the legal teams can't find information quickly enough. Typically, they're having to go to a system and open up large PDFs, documents, and having to search. And so there's a lot of productivity or even competitive if they're writing big contracts that can be helped by having a modern search engine with that, again, Amazon or Google-like experience. And finally, competition. So we found that marketing departments they want to use more machine learning to understand sentiment. What users are thinking about, what our competitors are doing. There's a lot of public information out there that can be scraped and crawled, and apply machine learning so companies can be ahead of their game. So I just want to go through these use cases because it's not just about search and search results. It's actually making decisions that have an impact on companies and various companies, and we're going to go through that here in a minute. So. We'll start with very high level. So, talk about the employee experience, and one key component where machine learning can help is to reduce friction at the search bar, right? I just typed in expense policy. By the way, we're going to show a demo, how it works using machine learning. But as you're typing, answer the question before you even hit the search button or even hit the enter button. You can even get there from the search results itself. And there's machine learning that's part of that. Recommendations. You've seen recommendations. I just talked about Amazon. I'm buying a water pipe, and here's some recommended washers and everything that goes with it. But you can do recommendations, and our customers are doing recommendations in their employee experience, like recommended articles. Here are related topics. Here's a document that other people found useful. If you're, reading a document, a little call out to the side, for example. That's pretty important. Domain knowledge. Every company has their own domain information, domain terms, TLAs, 3-letter acronyms that really affect relevancy in a bad way in a typical search engine. So we need to fix that, and machine learning can help. Personalized search as well. So based on your role profile, boost topics and articles. Am I a marketing person or I'm an engineer? And if I'm looking for a common term, boost based on that. Who I am, where I am, and finally, semantic search. So we've noticed and used semantic search over time. Google really pioneered this because it knows who you are, what you've clicked on in the past, and they're putting that information in buckets and serving you a pretty personalized experience. And we can do that with semantic capability. So in this case, HR policy for Japan. It's not just about lexical search and getting keyword hits. It's about understanding that policy is a document, and I'm looking for a document in HR, but I'm in Japan, so I need the Japanese HR policy. And finally, on the security side, I know this is not necessarily machine learning, but to do this at scale for any large companies on this webinar, it becomes a scale challenge. We have customers that have hundreds of millions of documents. It's a global search for internal search with 100,000 employees with thousands of nested ACLs, access control lists. So how do you deploy that at scale? And what can be done is for example, a graph-based query filter. And so that's a little bit of machine learning, not exactly machine learning, but it's definitely next generation using that graph query. So all of that is just to deploy that employee 360 experience. And so when I'm the employee, and we'll be able to use that for any digital touch point I'm using on the phone. And so to ingest any data, that's one key component. I'm going to show some examples. We're ingesting from multiple data sources and an experience optimizer as well. This is a business user interface from an admin perspective. And so be able to curate the user experience and help with relevancy. That's what we've seen a trend that way. Instead of it totally 100% managed in IT, we'll give them an easy-to-use interface for an admin user to help make sure the experience is running just perfect. Semantic capabilities, already talked about that. This is all within Fusion, by the way. Fusion's our platform that includes all this. And as well as a virtual chatbot. We're seeing this another trend where it's an augment to search. You may have a search box or finding things across multiple data sources, but then have a side call out with a chatbot where you can ask natural language questions. And that could be a chatbot on employee experience. It could be an HR chatbot. It could be an IT help desk chatbot. You just want quick questions. I use it all the time internally, and that's available. So let's drill down a little bit more detail here on the technology itself. By the way, we are going to have a tech overview towards the end. So if you want to stick around, we're going to be more business focused and user focused, but then tie in how machine learning can help. And one way, and the way we've been doing this for a long time, over 6 years, is signal-driven relevancy. And what is a signal? A signal is user context, user behavior. Every time, so I know it knows who I am, what I search on, what I eventually click on. So we're aggregating all that data across all those employees, let's say 100,000 employees. And so, and boosting based on that, based on clicks, based on things like that, based on read time. There's many different types of signals. So in this case, when someone searches for a holiday schedule, PTO and things like that, and let's say it's January, so the year just flipped to 2021 a few months ago, automatically boost the new holiday schedules to the top, right? I'm sure you may have had employee experiences where, old documents are still at the top, or this is the case where signal-based relevancy can push things to the top and you find what you're looking for a lot faster. What about personalization? We talk. There's a lot of buzz has been in the market for personalization for e-commerce, but we have customers deploying our personalization capabilities in their employee experiences. For example, again, we know who you are, what department you're in. We're ingesting your LDAP data or other data, HR data, what have you, as part of the index, so that it knows if I'm in engineering versus marketing. So if I'm in engineering and I search on fracking, you boost engineering reports for fracking, for geophysics, for example. Or if I'm in marketing, boost fracking analyst reports. just as an example. Entity extraction is another key machine learning capability. So we found this we've heard this for a long time from our big customers. Where they said they have years or decades of unlocked data in their repositories. So we want to unlock and mine that data and be able to use that for filters, to boost relevancy, to understand documents when I'm reading it. So I have to read the whole document, but a little call out on the side, and I'll show that in the demo. Just to enhance the user experience. And the goal is to help the user make a decision ultimately. And another way to help users make decisions real quickly is through document clustering. So, by the way, I've been talking about signal boosting and personalization and entity extraction, and now I'm document clustering. These are all out-of-the-box machine learning jobs in Fusion. So you basically run the job, it crunches the signals, and in this case, it extracts metadata from a document clustering. So it'll look at an unstructured document like a PDF, and it'll cluster terms inside that document. And so you don't have to read the whole document. You can open up get to the detail page, and there's a call out on the right, and you can quickly see that, this document's about fracking in Germany, and some sentiment, and that's it. I can see what the document's about in a matter of seconds instead of reading the whole document. So again, that's going to speed up productivity there. Also, recommendations. That's another key term that we've heard in e-commerce for a long time, and I just gave some examples of Amazon earlier. But understanding related information, that's real similar. So, again, if I'm an employee, I'm trying to make decisions, and I'm opening up a document, well, I can see what other people looked at, what they thought useful, similar articles, similar topics. We can, in that similar topics call out here on the right, you see that that's using our clustering job. It'll look inside a document and pull out top topics from that. But on the top right hand, you'll see that it's doing some recommendations. So you're reading this document, we recommend you also these other articles and documents. And so what does it mean what about my customers? We're also finding that marketing departments are really interested in getting sentiment. I mentioned NPS score. It's definitely very important. I want to delight my customers, make them happy, keep them happy. I forgot what's how much it costs more. It's like 10x or more to acquire a new customer than just expand the existing customer. But there are machine learning jobs to look at unstructured text and give you these positive, negative scores in a graph as well. Now I talked about TLAs, those 3-letter acronyms and domain terms a few slides ago. And we have out-of-the-box machine learning jobs that'll crunch the data, and those TLAs and domain terms usually result in a really bad performance from a search relevancy perspective. But we have this concept called rewrites, so machine learning-based query rewrites. And the jobs will detect synonyms and phrases and suggested spellings and suggested query rights to the business admin user. Say, hey, this domain term, you might want to rewrite this way so that you get better relevancy. So that just has a real impact. And I'll show a demo here later. And finally, that semantic capability. This is smart answers here on the right. So, how can I ask questions of an employee experience of a search engine? Because we've probably all been coached and to use short terms, 2 words, 3 words max, put things in quotes in some of these search engines. But with using Google and employee-like experiences, we're more used to using natural language questions. Like what is and where is and how do you in Google. Well, with smart answers, it's using not lexical search, typical search. It's using a deep learning-based dense vector search engine, so you can ask those natural language type of questions, and we'll show that in a demo as well. So with that, let's go ahead and transition to the demo. I'm going to show a few things, like I mentioned, pretty much everything that we just discussed, including including semantic search and how chatbots can help, as well as entity pages. So what I mean by entity pages, it drives a more dynamic, data-driven experience. It's not just search box and a list of results. It's you can bounce around and you can find information a lot easier. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to the demo itself. All right, you should be seeing my workplace demo. I'm going to make sure to refresh it and time out. And it did. It's a good thing I did. All right, so this is an example of a workplace demo, and we've ingested multiple different data sources, so you don't have to go to silos. I mentioned that employee productivity use case earlier, where 100,000 people can all look at the same unified search experience and search across many different data sources. It could be a few, it could be 10, it could be a dozen. And this is that demo to show that. So at the top, this is some quick examples of machine learning. Your recent searches, we're tracking that, again, using signals, trending searches. So here's where we're crunching data across all users. And this can be segmented as well, by region. There's a lot of flexibility there. Trending documents, recently viewed items, and things like that. So if I can easily click on these as well. By the way, this experience, we also have a UI builder, so you can build these dynamic, data-driven experiences. And it's a very quick, like one-liner. Here's the search box. A few lines to have some call-outs for trending searches, recent searches, and things like that, including the result itself, like what you see here. So I just searched on holiday schedule. And again, like I mentioned, this is a unified search experience. We're searching across Drive, a people search, SharePoint, website, and window share. And as you see, my 2021 holiday schedule is automatically boosted to the top. We have folks clicking on that over time, and that's the signals working in action. So some things, of course, I'm not going to focus too much on non-machine learning space, since we're focused on AI. The course facets on the left, you can easily drill down and filter bookmarks and save searches. These are all UI capabilities. But signals can be a click, they can be a like, they can be a bookmark. Read time, lots of different things can impact signal, which impacts the machine learning jobs, which impacts, of course, finding things faster and really, really quickly. You see recent searches and things like that. So I'm going to do some more searches here. I'm going to search on machine learning. And you see, machine learning. I've got a couple of different ways to show this. We see some suggested searches based on my signals, but I did a standard search. It was pretty good. But if I search with ML, machine learning, this is just a demo, so we can show two different concepts here. Machine learning, so as I'm typing, it's predicting what I'm searching for. In fact, we have a few call-outs right within the search box. For example, these are the top 4 documents when everyone has searched for machine learning. And again, this could be filtered out by geo and other filters if you wanted to. People, these are top machine learning data scientists. Jill is in our data science group, so is Om. Steve is it's more in my group, but he's a genius when it comes to machine learning. He's built some great demos. You also see some suggested searches here on the bottom. If you're looking for machine learning, maybe you're looking for, machine learning to rank is a top next term. Learning to rank is an advanced topic for type ahead and predicting what you're trying to find around query intent. And of course, search history and suggested phrases and things like that. So if I click enter, I just want to go. Of course, you can go right there, like I mentioned, reduce friction at the search bar. And I'm going to try. So that was machine space learning. But if I kind of mungle it all together, and sometimes people search on this machine learning, but all one word, no space, and it may not be like that in the document or in the content, right? This is an easy way to get to 0 results. But I do have a simple call out. This is more of a debugger, right? Toggle for details. And what I'm showing here is that we're automatically correcting. Spell correction, no space. Let's go and expand it to machine learning for that case. And I'm going to show you the back end as well here in a minute. so you can see how it's working. This is not a manually curated spell correction. This is automatically done. In fact, we have a lot of other scenarios here, like CEO. If I click CEO, again, it's trying to suggest, and you're able to click on that. There is a synonym detected here. So I just showed spelling suggestion. Here is a synonym detected for CEO, expanded to Will. Hey, it's Will's our CEO here at LucidWorks, our fearless leader. And I wanted to call out one more thing too. We do also have people pages, like I mentioned earlier, that entity page. So it's not just search box and result, it's having this dynamic experience. In this case, yeah, I'm looking at Will, but here are other people similar to Will. Chris is our CRO and Peter's our GM for digital commerce. If I opened up Jill, you remember Jill Roslow, she was our data scientist. We probably have other data scientists listed here, and everything that Jill has been mentioned in or written as a data scientist. In this case, Will is mentioned in all these documents and things like that. So some more examples. Query intent. I'll do that one. This is so query intent is misspelled, all no spaces, and we had another spell correction. Again, this is suggested by a machine learning job. Query no space down to query space intent. More common one is coronavirus, but spelled not with an A, but with an O. And we've actually seen this in the real world. And so when I search on coronavirus, I'm seeing quite a few hits, but I'm seeing hits on COVID-19 as well. And so we not just a spell correction, but also a synonym detected. Coronavirus was expanded for COVID-19. Now let's talk about engineering. CAD file, let's do a CAD, maybe oil pump. So because, like I mentioned earlier, we can deploy this unified search experience for all employees globally, but we can filter based on who we are and index all types of documents. I'll talk about connectors later, but the beauty is they can ingest any type of data in and present it in this type of experience, including integrated CAD viewers. So if there are anybody in engineering or PLM, you can see this is one that we can show and we can take a look at. By the way, one of the key requirements we've heard in the field is that I want more information. Instead of going to silos like Autodesk and PTC and engineering reports, put it all in one portal, including inventory and where is this part. So let's say I'm in the field, something breaks, trying to fix it. I'll need information. I need the manuals here. I need to figure out, I need to buy a replacement part for this piston. Click on that and show me where can I buy it. What distribution, what warehouse, or what plants, so I can quickly have it shipped and fix this item. So again, that's more on the business impact of costs and maybe revenue if for example, an oil rig is down or something like that. What about Gartner? So if I search on Gartner, there's some machine learning in the background. I'm not going to focus on that too much, but you can promote and pin items. And because we're going to show this in the back end how it works. And but before I go to the back end, you'll see a little word cloud here as well. On the chatbot, before we go to the back end, I do want to show you the semantic search capability. Again, this is smart answers that can power chatbot, but also can power semantic search on the search bar itself. But you can what the beauty about this is that you can ask any question in a natural language manner. So I just asked, what is copay? And copay is a flat fee, a percentage, blah, blah, blah. But I can ask it in all different kinds of ways. Even when I visit the doctor, is there a copay? Including its spellings and all that. But, this would break, that last example would break a typical lexical search engine. But the beauty of semantic search, it understands intent as quickly as possible. And since it's dense vector, it's also finding similarities. So, for example, if I search, you go to one of our customers and search on warm jacket, Costco's one where, the term warm is not in the content itself, but the words maybe puffy jacket winter jacket? Might be, and it's finding a very similarity, and it's close to those terms. So we'll start to boost, those winter jackets and puffy jackets when someone searches on warm jackets. So just a quick explanation on how that works, and feel free to ping us for, one of my folks can get on the call with you to explain it further. It's really next generation. We believe is this semantic search and vector search. So real quick, I'm going to go show you a little bit of the back end. Today we're talking about AI. I'm logged into, this is more of the search engineer interface, but I'm going to show you the business admin interface here in a second. This is kind of where you index data, set up query pipelines, manage collections, and things like that. But, as well as, we've been doing this for 6 years, machine learning specifically. Our company's been around for longer than that. But we have a large number of machine learning jobs out of the box. Supervised, classifications. They're going to classify data. I'm going to do some recommendations. Alternating least squares. That's kind of the old Netflix model. Query to query. That's like other people. You searched on this, and other people searched on similar queries, as well as those. In the demo I just showed, those suggested synonyms, spellings, phrases, things like that. We have out-of-the-box machine learning jobs for that. And so that's where our customers typically start. They start with, one of those 25 out-of-the-box machine learning jobs. And I'll kind of show you how it works. This is that experience optimizer. This is not for the search engineer. This is for the business admin user. And I can curate the experience, using, I think I saw the Gartner, right? If I want to pin, something, I can do that here. And Deuce Berry, I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to focus today on machine learning and AI. That's what we're here for. The beauty here is that I get a view of all those jobs, right? I get the output. I can see the output. The spellings, the phrases, the synonyms. I think I talked about COVID-19. Here's coronavirus. Here's an automatic rewrite from O to A, right? The job did that. I didn't have to manually do that. Phrases, machine learning is a phrase detection, because it could mean two different things if I do machine or learning. Synonyms as well. I think I used, coronavirus is COVID-19. So these are suggested synonyms. And so business users have that power. They have the power and to take a look at this. They can approve it. They can deny it. This is an underperforming query rewrite. So, our machine learning job is saying, when someone searches download, you should really boost Fusion, double the amount. Let's make sure they're getting to the try LucidWorks Fusion page. And so there's a confidence score as well. So if you just want to say, hey, let the machines take over, you can write a role like if the confidence score is over 80%, go ahead and write it. That's confident enough. And that's what I see, we see our customers doing, is that they get used to it. They run the out-of-the-box machine learning jobs, and they get comfortable with the machine learning over time, and eventually, decreases this manual, automatic, or decrease the manual, pending and approval state. They just do that. And then another common question, you can add your own phrases and synonyms and misspellings right here if you wanted to. Okay. I think, let's see, we've got a few more minutes before we go into Q&A. I just want to show one more demo, and then we'll go back to the slide deck. But here's another example of an employee experience, but more from a pharma capability, and also the entity pages, that dynamic user experience. We indexed 250,000 clinical trials, 244,000 clinical trials. A lot of it was unstructured text, right? Here's clinicaltrials.gov. We also indexed PubMed data. They're pretty basic, right? Search box and results. But here, I can click on anything. Here's a dashboard page, and I can search. Let's say I'm going to search on Gleevec. Gleevec is that next generation cancer drug that's you don't have to do. It's automatically clearing up some leukemia. It's developed by Novartis. It's been on 2020 as kind of not having to go through kill your body with chemo, but just taking a drug and curing the disease itself of leukemia. But I can get some insights if I'm a user at a pharma company. I'm searching on Gleevec, and I want to take a look at the medical trials that are associated with Gleevec. Of course, you get your facets on the left, but the really cool thing here is that I can explore this drug. And these are the entity pages. So tell me everything about Gleevec. Tell me everything about Indiana University. What about this other neurofibromas condition? So those are pages. Those are the entity pages, and it'll wrap everything around it. Much like if I go to this clinical trial itself, here's the entity page for the clinical trial, right? When it started, a little bit of an overview, and any related trials, right? This is a dynamic user experience. So I can go from here to click on Gleevec and get the same type of entity page and show me everything about Gleevec, like all the clinical trials around it, where it's tested, all the conditions, et cetera. So I just want to show that in a few minutes because I know that I want to leave 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my demo screen and go back to the slide because I do have a few more slides. All right, so back to the slides, and I'm doing a quick technical overview. So how it works from an architecture perspective, again, we can get any data in, and we ingest it, and we enhance it, and I'll talk about the stages and such later, but we're storing it with the most widely used search engine on the planet. And finally, there's a lot of stages as well on the query side. And with those many out-of-the-box machine learning jobs, that's running on Spark. I think I just quickly showed it earlier, and then provide that user experience on the right, whether it be desktop, mobile, tablet. Here's a sample of our connectors. We can, again, any data in, and a quick view of our capabilities from the machine learning. So that's in the aquamarine. So what I was showing earlier from a demo perspective, right? Clustering. So, trying to understand, document what's it about, the topic detection, classify documents into different taxonomies and things like that. I'll skip over Search Core, pretty basic, but on the machine learning on query side, right? Signal-driven relevancy, we were able to show that query intent as I'm typing, reduce friction at the search bar so I can find what I'm looking for as quickly as possible. We talked about recommendations and smart answers, right? That semantic search that can power chatbot and other things, as well as head-tail query rewrite. One thing I did not show, but you can bring your own machine learning models. We have some customers that they have a data science team, and they don't want to use our machine learning model. They want to use their own. They've been experimenting. They've been building, and they can work in their own tools like Jupyter Notebook and use it and then inject it right into Fusion. So that's possible as well. So this is a future-proof platform, definitely a modern future-proof platform. And these are the machine learning-based jobs for the business user, the admin user. All right, so a little bit about the ROI, and then we'll open up the Q&A. So we do ROIs here at LucidWorks for our employee experience customers. As you can imagine, right, 20% of your time is looking for data for knowledge workers, and if you have a lot of customers or a lot of employees, we can really help there. So we transform, we transform from data silos to that unified search experience. With that experience optimizer, right, you don't have to go to IT. You don't have to go to IT. You can transform the experience right within the tool. And so you're really empowered, and that streamlines the whole process. And what I try to show in that clinical trials demo and some of the other demos is just better decision making, getting more information faster at your fingertips so you can make that important business decision. You're going to unlock that data that may have been stored for decades, like what we mentioned earlier. So, and on that clinical trials demo, data-driven insights. It's not just about search boxing results. It's you can bounce from this information, whether I'm talking about from drugs to sponsor to condition to who's working on it. So putting that information in a dynamic user interface with not just text but also some graphical data. I think you saw some of the charts and things like that really helps. And just speed time to market. Quickly deliver these new capabilities. We try to wrap this all that can be quickly deployed. You're not building custom models, you're not building custom UIs, you're not building custom ingestion pipelines and things like that. So there's a great case for an ROI for the employee experience, and we'd be happy to help with that. All right, so that wraps up. We'll get to Q&A. Hopefully, some questions are coming through. But just to finalize, I do want to give you kind of wrap up the story of my COVID-19 project and getting close. This is what I started with. The Springer van was black, empty. I chose the poly ISO. To be honest, I wish I would have spent a little bit more for that thin slate because it's already 90 degrees here. I'm in Austin, Texas. And it's already pretty hot, so I'm finding other ways to make it cooler as we speak. But my 15-year-old daughter helped me with decorating the van. She's picked out the kind of wood floor with a Hawaiian motif and a little bit of surf van feel with the wood countertop and all that. So I'm really, really close to getting on the road, and it has a surf motif because we love to surf. We here in Austin, there's plenty of lakes, and when we go behind the boat, we also go to the coast in hydrofoil. This is a picture of me on the boat on a hydrofoiled surfboard, and it's awesome. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. But I'll tell you all about it. It's my current obsession, along with the van. So with that, let's go ahead and open up for Q&A. All right. So. First question, you mentioned signals to drive machine learning. What if we don't have any signals? So for customers without signals, which in the employee experience model, it's actually quite a bit, right? So they're maybe coming from SharePoint or silos, and they don't have, definitely not like holistic signals across all systems, maybe in one system. So in that case, we recommend using the semantic capabilities. I gave that example of warm jacket earlier, so we can drive really good relevancy. I mean, we have our own, tips for improving relevancy without signals, but the semantic capabilities. Think about Google, right? They're using semantic capabilities there. Has a big impact on driving enhanced relevancy there. All right. Next question: Do you handle multiple languages? And what about Asian languages? Yes. We do. We handle 60 out-of-the-box languages. That's, like I mentioned earlier in the technical overview, Solar's under the hood. Solar just inherently supports a lot of different languages. But as part of Fusion on top, we have a language detection stage as well as an advanced language pack, which supports not just Asian languages, but some of the more tougher concepts like non-decompounding, entity extraction, stemming, and things like that. Without that advanced language pack, right, you have to have a more of a direct hit, on your search terms. But with advanced language packing, we have customers like HPE that run it globally, as well as Lenovo. So if you're a global customer, we can certainly handle that. When was the McKinsey study done? That was 2019, I believe. There was an old one from IDC from 2011, I found. But yeah, McKinsey was pretty recent, a couple of years ago. Let's see. Really nice presentation. Thanks. Thank you. There's a lot of commentary on the web about scaling out using, I think it's Cassandra. It might have been misspelled, or Elasticsearch. Please comment on that. Yes, I think Elasticsearch, they started in analytics, log analytics, way back in the day. I believe that enterprise search, what we're talking about today, is fairly new for them, probably in the last year or two. And I've seen it in their webinars, and I've played with it myself, and it's a great tool, and they're a public company. I think what the difference there is that we've been purely focused, like laser focused on search. And so you'll see a lot more out-of-the-box machine learning jobs for just that search, as well as flexibility in Fusion. So we'd be happy to give you a demo on my team to show you the flexibility on the index stages. So when data is coming in, all the stages there, as well as the query stages. And another, I think, differentiator from what I've heard from other customers, we have a lot of the same customers, is around security, especially at scale. So we have some security trimming jobs, and I mentioned the graph-based query to filter content based on who you are, right? So you might have some sensitive documents. Not everyone can see those documents, and we filter those out in the engine itself. This one's a long one. I have to expand it here so I can see it. How easy is it to customize the out-of-the-box pages to look like what you demoed? The product-specific or similar focus pages like Levic, are they built on the fly by AI? And are templates, or one would need to build them out manually? So we do have a template for the employee experience for the clinical trials demo that was created using our UI builder it was created from our UI builder from the ground up, but like I mentioned, we do have more of these tagging, high-level tags. For example, one tag is a search box to put the search box on the top. There might be a 3-line tag for recommendations on the right, like recommended articles, or you might remember that across all conditions. So we do have UI builders to get you a lot faster. And but if you're talking about enterprise search, for the first demo I gave, we do provide templates to help get you started a lot faster than that. But we have some customers that use Fusion for 8 to 10 different projects, different user experiences, like for example, legal search versus geophysical search versus marketing. They have their own dashboards with a lot more graphics, like customer sentiment, things like that. And so they tend to build those out from the ground up using that declarative nature, that job with those tags. Does it follow any of the KCS methodologies? Yes, we do. In fact, we have KCS staff today. We'd be happy to give you some of our. We did not talk about KCS implies support. That's on the support side of the house. So we'd be happy to. I think we're having another webinar on that coming up. Feel free to reach out and we can schedule that with you. But we do have support demos that did not show that today. So we can have it very specific to your support personnel to make your agent more effective. So agent effectiveness internally, including Salesforce native integrations as well as case deflection. So that's more like on the support side, customer self-service. And so if you go to Red Hat, support.redhat.com, and that's Fusion powering it, and not just searching for knowledge bases or finding answers, but if I can't find an answer using a knowledge base search, then when I'm creating a case, as I'm typing in the title, we have a sidebar trying to automatically answer using machine learning that question. So we're trying to deflect the case in multiple different stages there. What are the license implications for the machine learning capability? So we do have multiple tiers. We have enterprise tiers, which includes machine learning. So I'm in engineering, so I don't really get into the pricing too much, but that's what I know. But if you want to contact us, we can certainly have someone walk you through all the license capabilities there. I think you mentioned early security binding, but do you support late at query time with the source? Yes, we do. We do support query time source. In fact, I believe I mentioned that with the large scale example. In fact, one of our very large customers pushed us on a query time binding with, and we to do that at scale, we have a graph-based query module for that. All right, so that is the end of the questions, and appreciate your time today. And so thank you for attending our webinar here at LucidWorks. If you have any other questions or want deeper dive demos of what I showed today or any other subject, for example, there were some questions on customer support, we have that. Semantic search, we can go much deeper, and anything else. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate your time. Have a great week. Bye.